minutes from March the 7th, 2016, the regular open minutes from March the 7th, and the special open minutes of March the 7th. So could I have a motion to adopt those? That would be Rhodes King. All in favor? Thank you. And business arising from the minutes, I do have two, not that one, two things that were extracted from this morning's meeting, the in-camera. One is the 2016 Water Budget Strategic Session, moved by Councillor Rhodes and seconded by Councillor Campbell, and resolved that Council approves the Water Conservation and Staged Restriction Bylaw number 1273-2011 be rewritten to have current Stage 1 restrictions, alternate day watering, as the new water conservation normal stage, effective April the 15th, 2016. And that was carried. And the other one was motion IC 168/15, moved by Councillor King and seconded by Councillor Youngberg, and resolved that Council approves that Osoyoos Water District Rates and Regulations Bylaw 1241, 2008 be rewritten to implement domestic water restrictions consistent with the town for irrigation districts 8 and 9. So do I have to have a motion to approve the minutes, or the business arising? Okay. Thank you. That would be Rhodes Campbell. All in favor? Thank you that we include those. Introduction of late items. We have something that's moved from this morning, and it would be from the Committee of the Whole, and it would be under Business 2, and it's the grant and aid applications. That will be included. And also under correspondence, we have a letter from the town of Oliver. Can we do both of those together? Okay, both of those would be added to, and the agenda would be adopted as amended. Could I have a motion to that effect, please? Thank you. King, Youngberg, all in favor. Thank you. No delegations. So we have water matters, and where are we on here? I've got too many pages. So the background is to report on expenditures from accounts payable for water councillors and council approval. Water district cash requirements to March the 21st, 2016 are in the amount of $7,698.08 for council approval. So the options are to approve the water district cash requirements in that amount or to not approve them. And the recommendation from staff is option 1. Could I have? All right, that would be Councillor Moreira, Councillor Ray, all in favor. Thank you very much. So next is the correspondence, and we have a report from the Okanagan Basin Water Board, and that would be the highlights. A couple of things that are on there. One is that the rain barrel project is up and running again, and it's possible to, I think it's Central Okanagan is doing it, but we think it would be good to have it all up and down all 3 regional districts. There are 100 barrels available for $75, and people say, well, maybe this isn't such a good thing in a desert, but I believe Councillor Rhodes has one. You have 3. And are they quite successful?
I use them all the time. I can't remember the last time that I turned my outside tap on. Even last year during the drought period that we had.
So is it just from rainwater?
Just collecting it off of the roof, yeah. And if anybody knows where I collect the water from, it's a very small building as well.
Well, I think that's a really good way of dealing with rain, and we've had a little bit recently, so we're going to suggest that people look at this seriously. I think this is a great idea. And the other thing is the Make Water Work project, which was on last year, looked at ways to reduce water in people's homes by, rain barrels is one, irrigation fixes, installing dual flush toilets, collecting gray water for reuse. Those are all good things to do, and it just takes a while to get into the habit of doing that. And so I totally recommend that people have a look at that. And tomorrow is World Water Day. So everybody could start by doing something to conserve water starting tomorrow. Everybody looks enthused. Okay.
We're hoping for sunshine.
Okay. The next is I have a letter from, two letters that I'd like to read. One of them is from the town of Oliver, and it's concerning the school issues, and it is addressed to Marisa Tarr, chairperson, and trustees, and also copies of this letter were sent to MLA Larson and the Minister of Education. At the February 22nd, 2016 regular open council meeting, the proposed closure of the town of Osoyoos Senior Secondary School was discussed. Oliver Council acknowledges the challenging decisions School District 53 trustees are currently confronted with and recognizes the authority of the board to close the school. On behalf of Council and Oliver residents, I wish to express our genuine support to the town of Osoyoos, its residents, and business community on the potential loss of a school. School Board Policy A3, school closure, states that the closure of schools has significant impact. Osoyoos is a small town, and its schools play an important role in creating a community nucleus which is far beyond educating its youth. The savings to School District number 53 that it attains by closing Osoyoos Secondary School must be weighed against the burden to the community and the region. School Board Policy A3 speaks to common community consultation, however, is lacking on the need to study and measure the financial impacts of the broader community. And that is from Mayor and Council of Oliver. And we also have one here from the Mayor and Council of Keremeos. Attention to the same people. Madam Chair, the Mayor and Council of the Village of Keremeos support the town of Osoyoos is pleased to keep Osoyoos Secondary School open and strongly urge the Board of Trustees for School District 53 to consider all options and opportunities that would avoid school closures in our school district. The social and economic impact to the communities that experience school closures are far-reaching and may very well outweigh the immediate benefits of reducing the school board's operating budget. If the closure of more schools in our district in the coming years is inevitable, perhaps now is the time to work together on proactive long-term strategies. We look forward to being part of a solution that keeps all our schools open, thereby protecting the educational needs of all of our communities and ensuring a brighter future for our students. And that's from Keremeos. I'd just like to also say that we do receive a great deal of mail and letters from various citizens and community groups, and we do keep that in a file on our action tracker, and that is available for staff and council to have a look at. And we definitely appreciate the concern that that our citizens have concerning this issue and any other issues. So thank you very much to everyone for sending in letters. And we need to have a motion, please, to accept the correspondence. Thank you. Campbell Rhodes. All in favor? Thank you. And next is business. No bylaws. Yes, bylaws. One bylaw. That would be Mr. Zackel on financing a backhoe.
Okay, this is actually business number 1.
Yeah.
Pardon me, Mayor McCordoff.
Sorry, it's business number 1, you're right.
Financing the 2015 JCB 3CX Super Backhoe Loader. Replacement of the backhoe loader was included in the 5-year capital plan, which was adopted at the March 7th, 2016 council meeting. Council awarded the contract to purchase the new backhoe loader from Wajax Equipment for $129,470, which includes PST. In the 2016 budget, this piece of equipment is to be funded through borrowing from the Municipal Finance Authority. This purchase is being made under Section 175 of the Community Charter through the MFA equipment financing over a period of 5 years with no right of renewal at the current rate of 1.37%. Implications for community: more effective performance of operational services tasks by utilizing the more powerful and efficient backhoe loader. Organizational: no changes organizationally. Budget conforms to the financial plan adopted by Council March 7th, 2016. Significant dates: resolution required before funding can be received. Under options, to allow for the borrowing from MFA for the purchase of the 2015 JCB 3CX 14 Super Backhoe Loader under Section 175 of the Community Charter in the amount of $129,470 for 5 years with no right of renewal. Option 2, to amend the financial plan to fund the purchase of this piece of equipment through other means than borrowing. The recommendation before Council is option number 1, to allow for the borrowing from MFA for the purchase of the 2015 JCB 3CX 14 Super Backhoe Loader under Section 175 of the Community Charter in the amount of $129,470 for 5 years with no right of renewal. This is consistent with the 5-year financial plan as adopted by Council March 7th, 2016.
Thank you very much. And I do know that the Public Services Department tried out for several weeks various backhoes, and this was the one that they had agreed would suit their purposes best. Councillor Campbell.
Thank you, Mayor McCordoff. As Council has been aware of the process that led up to the decision for this purchase, I would make a motion to accept option number 1.
Thank you. We have a seconder for that. Councillor Rhodes. Is there any discussion about this? No? All in favor? Thank you very much. And now business. Do we not have water matters that they have to stay for?
No.
Financial accounts I've got on here. Water matters. No?
We've done it
okay.
already.
Oh, it's on one of my agendas. I thought they're leaving. Okay. Brianna, I'm going to show you what I mean after it's on here. Okay. So next is the. I already read it out, did I? I've got too many. Okay.
He didn't be there that day, no.
This is brought forward from this morning, a community services grant applications, that the community services grant applications be forwarded to the March 21st, 2016 regular council meeting agenda. So that's what we're doing first. And Mr. Romanko, are you going to speak to that?
I'll kick it off. And so the community service grant applications were reviewed and were taken to the committee of the whole this morning for any additional information that council deemed necessary before making a decision. And council has moved it to this meeting for a decision. And the intention of the meeting is to now is to debate the amount of allocation and merits of the projects, so a decision can be made. The allocated budget for the community services grant applications for 2016 was approved was $64,000. The budget for $60,000 includes $2,000 for sport teams and $4,000 for environmental initiatives. The total request for 2016 was $80,126. The applications are grouped into different categories, which include approved support, traditional support, and new requests. Sport team funding was already approved by council and provided to the minor hockey team traveling to provincials, and also to the high school senior boys basketball team that went to provincials. The council awarded a total of $1,000 to these teams, and there is $1,000 remaining. Last year, council allocated the entire budget as they tried to do their best to provide funding to all local groups. Attached are the committee's recommendations. In making these recommendations, the committee have followed the grant criteria and eligibility parameters that are included in the Community Services Grant Policy. As additional information, if council agrees to provide support for the Desert Park Society and the Osoyoos Water Quality Society projects, funding for these projects could come out of the resort municipality funds. So council's options are to approve the grants that are in front of them, or to provide some changes to the grants based on debate. And I don't know if maybe I could quickly, do you want me to quickly just run through the applications and the amount and the projects? In terms of the community service grant applications for 2016, as mentioned earlier, the South Okanagan Minor Hockey Association and the Osoyoos Senior Basketball teams have received funding already. Traditional support includes the Osoyoos Festival Society for $6,000. The Osoyoos Elks Senior Citizen Society Golden Villa Property Taxes Municipal Portion in the amount of $2,000 requested. The Osoyoos Royalty Committee program bursary expenses requested $6,000. The high school bursaries $3,000. The Canada Day fireworks $6,000. Osoyoos Elks Lodge for AED purchase $1,500. International Curling Club Society fire exit door improvement for $5,550. The Osoyoos Lake Water Quality Lake Appreciation Day and signage $3,126. In terms of new requests, Desert Park Exhibition Society a jousting event deposit for $3,000. Osoyoos Traditional Archery School did not apply this year. The Legion property tax municipal portion $1,000. Desert Sun Counseling and Resource Society $4,000. Osoyoos Minor Ball Association for fees waived, mounds and pitching machine $6,450. The Child Care Society Playground Fall Service request for $10,000. Osoyoos Senior Ball Club dugout covers and equipment storage $2,500. The Osoyoos Wildlife Federation Fishing Forever $1,000. The Osoyoos Senior Center for hall upgrades for $3,500. BC Schizophrenia Society vehicle expenses in Osoyoos $1,000. South Okanagan Minor Hockey Association for a rink divider system $7,500. Osoyoos Autism Behavioral Center for facility rental costs insurance $4,500. Osoyoos and District Art Council for light fixtures $500. Osoyoos Lake Osoyoos Sailing Club exterior painting a clubhouse $1,000. So those are the requests for this year, and I'll turn it over for council.
So that totaled $80,126, and we do have a total of $64,000 in the budget. So that meant that the committee looking at this needed to make some compromises and look at each one very carefully. Councillor Campbell.
A couple of questions. Thank you, Mayor McCordoff. I might understand that there could be some additional funding available through the MRDT as well on top of the 64, or no?
For which project?
For this program period.
I don't.
No.
No,
There
no.
was two items that you mentioned that could be removed off of this, and,
Okay.
Yeah, from the
That's the
resort
resort
municipality
municipality.
funding.
yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were special events. The council budgeted, I think, 15,000 this year for special events funding out of
That's
the
right.
resort municipality program.
Okay.
And so looking at what our special events, is noted that the Desert Park Exhibition jousting event deposit of 3,000 would qualify. And also for the Osoyoos Lake Water Quality Lake Appreciation Day would also, and signage would also qualify under that program.
Okay, I guess, but where I'm going and where my concern is with the Osoyoos Minor Baseball Association, based on a letter that was received by council. This is a startup league bringing a minor baseball back for the kids in Osoyoos that's been absent for quite some time. I know there was some confusion around the requested amount. At the end of the day, to fund this startup, which are the fees, the mounds, the pitching machines, etc., to get this league started, the request is now for double what has been approved, to the amount of $6,450. As I see this as not an annual ask, as this is a startup for a league that will hopefully continue for years to come, I'd like to find a way to fund the additional $3,225. And I know that there's some time restrictions on this for the organizers of this league to have these funds in place and be able to get started.
Councillor King?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor McCordoff. I guess as a person that actually sat on the committee and wasn't quite aware of that we could take money out of other pockets of money we had put aside for special things, I would like to recommend that we give the minor baseball their full amount of $64.50 and take the money out of, what do you call it, ML?
The resort municipality.
Resort municipality to support the Desert Park to their full amount, and we could do the water out of that money also. I don't have it in front
Water
of me.
quality,
The water quality.
Lake Appreciation Day.
Yeah.
Councillor Rhodes?
So I definitely support taking those two items out and having those kind of supported through the Resort Municipality Initiative. I might have a little bit of a problem with the full amount for the Baseball Association, though. What about maybe softening that up a little bit and doing another half towards it?
I think that's, oh, you mean like bring it up to
Yeah, I
5,800 or something? Or
I can't do the
5,500?
math in my head, but another,
5,000 or something like
It'd
that.
be 4,875
5,000.
or 5,000.
yeah, maybe 5,000 and.
When I'm looking at the lake water quality, it's what they've requested is 3126. The amount that's practically identical to the amount that is missing from the minor baseball. So to me, it would make sense to put the water quality event onto the resort municipality and use that money to top up the minor baseball. As I understand, it's for 1 year only, and then there would not be the request for next year.
I would definitely support that.
Do we have a motion for that?
We don't have a motion or anything yet. Carol?
I'm just speaking in favor of Desert Park. The jousting event will bring approximately 2,000 people to town. It's a 3-day event, and I think that will create heads in beds, as the saying goes. And I'd like to see some way that we can increase that to the ask, if we can take it out of the MRT funding or pick it up from reallocation of these funds.
So that together, those two asks would basically total just about $5,000. Is there enough money in the resort municipality? $15,000. I wasn't sure how much we had spent. I knew we'd spent
There's
some.
15 left. So
No, there was some.
Yeah, there's sufficient amount of funds to cover.
5,000.
Just as added discussion item, I wasn't privy to the grant application, and I don't know what portion of the minor ball association's ask is for fees waived And I guess from an administrative perspective, the waiving of fees, I think, sets kind of a different direction. These are, and it's not a significant amount, I think, in terms of these are the fees that we use to operate our fields, and it's one thing to contribute towards the capital.
And that's why we took it off.
So I don't know what portion of the minor baseball ask is actually the fees waived.
No, I understand. Councillor Rhodes.
Maybe just so we can deal with these one at a time, I'll make a motion to take those two items out of the grant and aid program, first off, and have them paid in full, the full ask amount from the RMI program.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Is there,
Just
yes?
a question. Are you referring to the Osoyoos Lake Water Quality and Desert Park?
Correct.
Yes,
Okay.
Those two
that's right.
items.
All right.
Yep.
Mhm.
And just for clarity, the motion would be to pay for the amount requested.
Yes.
From resort municipality funding. Okay, shall we deal with that first? All in favor of that motion? Thank you, that's unanimous. Now, Councillor Campbell.
I'd like to make a motion now that there's available funds to support the ask for the Osoyoos Minor Baseball Associations once receiving clarity that this number isn't associated with the fees waived.
So it sounds like that there, Councillor King, can you answer that question? This does not include the fees, or
In
is
the
this just?
application, it
yeah.
actually asked to waive the fees. That's where Mr. Romeko made that comment. That was one of the reasons we did make it less, because we didn't want to set it up that everybody requests
Have
their
the
fee for
fees
service
waived.
be taken off. So in that regard, I think Mr. Romeko was right. It's between $300 and $400. So I don't know if that would make sense to give them $6,100.
Or the full amount and have them pay the fees.
Yeah, well, that's
Maybe
what
that's
we
a better
did.
way to do it.
Would that work, Mr. Manko, if we gave them the full amount and they then in turn pay the fees to us to manage?
Well, I think one of the options is to support their application and provide a grant for the purchase of their pitching mounds and pitching machine, and that way it's covering the capital equipment costs, and then the fees would be a separate issue.
So, in other words, you're suggesting that we ask them for a total of what it would cost for those items and not the fees, and then we would pay that amount.
Yes. So
They actually had that broken down when they presented it in their package.
Could we ask the committee to go back and have a look at that again, and then come back with a recommended amount which includes the capital costs but not the fees?
I think in the spirit of time and the time restraints that this organization is under, I don't think they have that kind of time. I'd like to see a motion that will support the full ask in terms of making sure that whether it's fees waived, fees paid, and the equipment that's necessary to start the league is covered in this meeting today.
I totally understand. I just think we're the only issue I think is the amount of fees. You know, should that be included or not? So would it be acceptable to give them the full amount, but ask them to actually pay us the fees, that they need to cover the fees? Or does this not read that way?
Well, but I guess just for clarity, you're not using the grant money to pay the fees back to us. Like,
That's what I'm getting to.
so, I guess the suggestion is that that the grant be provided for their capital equipment, and which includes pitching mound pitching mounds and batting machine. But excludes the waiving of fees.
Yes.
I'd be comfortable with that.
I would be too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you get that, Brianne? So That would require Mr. Davis and Councillor King to go back and have a look at that again.
Yes.
Yes, their application. Councillor
I'll
Rose.
second that.
Okay, so that has been adjusted, that the full amount be paid to out of resort, oh, we've already done that part, that the 6450 be looked at, and that we would agree to pay all of the capital equipment, but not the fees. Is that what you've got? Okay.
That's right.
Moved and seconded.
Assuming fees will be waived.
No, we're not waiving the fees.
No,
Yeah.
'cause
No.
every sports club would ask for it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
so they have to pay the fees, we'll pay for the rest of the equipment. Okay, is that all right? All in favor of that motion? Thank you, that's carried.
If I could just say that, just some of my reasoning behind it is, looking at our community today and the fact that there's people in the private sector willing to put in the time and energy to get this league started up, I think is something that we should heavily support. And anytime we're adding a new activity for our youth to get them off their devices and out into the parks doing things, I think is a big win for all of us.
I totally agree. I think that having more activities for youth in our community is a really positive move, and I think that our motions by council have just proven that we're willing to look at all of that.
One more comment to that subject, that we have an increase in youth in the community continuously, and therefore we have a desire for the baseball, which has not been in our community for over 15 years.
Right. So we're very happy that we have some groups and some people that have taken this on. Okay, where are we at? Yes.
Okay, so the council has dealt with those three particular applications.
Now we pass on the rest.
Now we need to address
absolutely.
council to the remainder as recommended by the committee or adjustments.
Councillor Rhodes.
I'd like to make a motion that we pass the grant application as presented, subject to those changes.
As amended.
Yes, as amended, yes.
And are you seconding that? Sure. Okay. So we will pass the grant and application as amended. Is that correct? All in favor? Thank you very much.
And was that Councillor Campbell that seconded the motion?
King Rhodes.
Can I ask one question?
Yes.
Based on all the adjustments we just made and Jim's ability to calculate things without a calculator very quickly, what did we just leave on the table now that we removed those two items and added bulk?
About 4,800.
Okay, thank you.
And we
$26.
actually
Not just another
get
pretty
asked
face.
for several things during the year, so it's fine, and we can always include something later. It just doesn't have to be added at this point. Okay, so we're now on to general net payroll. Is that where we are? Fran? Good. We've been back and forth a few times. Okay, thank you. So this is general net payroll and Sun Bowl Arena financial accounts. And the background is to report on expenditures from accounts payable for council approval and payroll information for council to receive. So general cash requirements from up to March 21st, 2016. General cash requirements, $274,009.29. Sun Bowl cash requirements of $12,009.70. And net payroll accounts of $84,615.86. So the first one is we will accept for information. And we're going to ask Mr. Zackel about the Sun Bowl cash requirements because there's an adjustment of $3,783.80.
Thank you, Mayor McCordoff. So when we looked at the reporting from the February 15th council meeting, there was an error on the reports of $3,783.80. It was our first report by our new payroll clerk, and I missed the ad. We had taken the total from page 1 and added it into the totals of the Sunbowl expenditures. So it was just a duplication of the numbers. So this is just bringing it forward to council to say that there was a correcting entry from that meeting that we need to make council aware of.
Put in today.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
yes.
does that mean we kind of found 3,700? Theoretically?
Theoretically, yes.
On paper. Okay, thank you. So the general accounts of Sunbowl accounts are adopted by consensus, and the payroll received for information. Yes.
Moved.
Are you're moved?
You want to
No,
finish
we
that
don't
off? I
have
just
to.
wanted to comment on.
Oh, we don't have to move that. We've already done. Okay, go ahead, Councillor Rhodes.
Thank you, Jim, for bringing that forward. So often in our dealings with residents and members of our community, we get criticized about transparency. This is a clerical error that happened on a scale of 1 to 10. It's not that serious because it was correctable and would have been caught through a normal process, but thank you for bringing that forward.
Yes.
Transparency is so important, and I thought it would be appropriate to point out that sometimes even minor things like this are so important to bring forward in our reporting. So thank you for doing that.
You bet.
Thank you very much. And the next item that we have here is the summary of building permits. So we have a total for the month of $107,000 and total to date of in 2016 of $177,000, and total to date was $985,000 last year. We seem to be slightly behind. What happened? What was it last year that had that big?
I think
Big
we had
increase.
a number of single-family residences that were built in a very, that the permits were taken out in spring.
Okay, that's why. It's always surprising to see that, because I think we'll see things go up throughout the year, but it seems like it doesn't show it right now. Okay, do we have any committee reports?
We need a motion to accept
What do I need to do?
A motion to accept that.
A motion to accept that? Thank you. King, Youngberg, all in favor? Thank you. Okay, so now we're on to committee reports. No? Yes, Councillor King.
Yeah, thank you, Madam McCorduff. I think this would be appropriate as the DO Economic Development met last week to solidify their terms of reference and set some goals as they move forward and some action items to make those goals happen. So with saying that, we're hoping to meet again in the next 2 to 3 weeks, and I'll have a more updated and defined goal-setting process for you.
Good, thank you. Do we need to accept that as a, no, okay. CAO report.
Thank you, Mayor McCordoff. Just a few of the things that the administration has been involved in in the last couple of weeks. In terms of community services, our new spring leisure guide is now out. In terms of corporate services, the annual report development continues. Request for proposals for municipal facilities and caretaker is out, and it closes on March 29th. We also had a posting for our mechanic, which is due to retirement. Interviews were held for a relief building service worker at the Sonora. And congratulations to Ricky Anderson for joining our crew on a relief basis. Also some bylaw consolidations. In terms of planning and development, continue to review drafts of the consultant's trail and park study, and also had the gyro park benches have been installed, and we did a site review with the contractor on Friday, and there's still some small finishing touches that need to be done on Phase A, but for all intents and purposes, Phase A would be considered complete, and we're just waiting for Phase B to be completed. In Public Works, the work continues on Station 8 to upgrade that particular area. We had some issues with some legal issues on a access, and but that's all been easement agreement, so that's all been resolved now. So Fortis will be putting in some poles and moving that ahead. Sidewalk and street sweeping is continuing, and we also had our following contracts have startup meetings, and construction has begun on 74th Avenue between 89th and 85th, 74th Avenue between 85th and Main, the fire hall offsite services, and also the Kinsman Beach wall replacement and pedestrian access off Spartan Drive. We've also installed step lights over at the Gyro Park. This is in response to some of the comments we got from users of Gyro Beach that said that it was a little bit dark and they had trouble seeing the step at night. And for those of you who were out and about on St. Paddy's Day, they were glowing green. But normally they will be white. So we have the ability to adapt. I think we've probably used about 12 to 15 different colors. So that. And divers have performed their annual inspections of the 2 lake water intakes in station number 8 sump. Myself, we had a fire hall monthly meeting last Friday, and things are on schedule and basically on budget. One small, additional cost we have to deal with are the costs related to heating and hoarding that occurred in November. Other than that, there's been some positives here and negatives there in terms of even out budget, but basically we're on budget and on time. We completed the operations director's evaluation, so he has now finished his probationary period. The Richter property continued working on property development, and also the working on the subdivision of it, and continued work on the new deal agreement, and also some work related to the school closure. So that's my report for today.
Thank you very much, Mr. Romanko. Could we have a resolution to adopt that? Thank you. That would be Campbell, Youngberg. All in favor? Thank you. And now on to councillors' reports. Councillor King, you're first.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I guess I don't know. I'd say I had the pleasure to attend the open house for the school district. I found it very interesting. Again, there was about 800 to 1,000 people there. To me, it seemed very well ran. There was a few people frustrated they couldn't speak a little longer. The thing that pointed out to me, they identified they could possibly save 600,000 to 800,000 in different areas. There was also a lot of good ideas moved forward, and hopefully the school trustees will definitely have a look at them. And as far as I'm concerned, the trustees should definitely delay the decision while the community or the district can work together for the betterment of the district.
Thank you. I think we all agree. Councillor Youngberg.
Thanks, Mayor McCordoff. It's been a busy couple of weeks for me. I was the acting mayor I guess I still am, for another week, and opened the Autumn Fiesta. And we had 12 teams participating from all sorts of areas of BC and from the state of Washington. It was just an invigorating event. They're so excitable. It's just a wonderful wonderful opportunity for those young hockey players to show their skills, and also remembered the late Paul Eisenhut for his creation, that vision that he created 22 years ago. I'm a big curling fan, and World Canada Curling is on, and Canada's they're leading 3 wins, so that's a good thing. We'd like to thank Vera and Michael Ryan for their dedication to Friends of the Library. They are resigning this year, and we're just really hopeful that we can recruit some volunteers. And again, thanks to Vera and Michael for many years of successful book sales and all sorts of little tasks that they picked up around the library. We're also working on the Loop Triathlon, which will take place on June the 25th, and it's I believe it's our 3rd annual. And so we're looking for volunteers for that triathlon. It'll be Saturday out of Lions Park. Daffodil Dash and the flower sales for the Cancer Society. April the 5th and 6th, we're on to that. And we will be selling daffodils from BYLAWS. And they are so kind as to store the daffodils for us. for that first week in April, which will be the sales. And I think the dash takes place on April the 14th.
24th.
Oh, 24th. Yes, 24th. And what we're doing is we're looking for a mission statement for the library. The ORL out of Kelowna has got a little opportunity for people to participate in putting forward a mission statement for the 18 libraries that they operate. So if we can work on that, we'll...
Working on that.
Yes. Call the town and give them your mission statement if you'd like, or put it on our website and email me. Thank you. That's my report.
Thank you, Councillor Youngberg. Councillor Rhodes.
Thank you, Mayor McCordoff. Just a couple of things. A reminder that the museum is having an open house this Saturday, and I kind of went over a few of the things that are going to be featured this weekend, but yeah, there's been a fair amount of changes at the museum, and lots of, and it's always a misnomer to say the word exciting and museum in the same sentence, but there are a fair amount of exciting things going on over there. And, you know, the dedication of the staff that are working over there, of which there are very limited amounts, but there are some volunteers that work with the staff. Just such a very, very unique place to go. If you're interested in anything that's ever happened in Osoyoos, that's a great place to start out over there. In addition to that, I just wanted to remind everybody about there is a public hearing tonight. It's a zoning amendment bylaw application that's going to be heard tonight, and it has to do with a craft distillery that's thinking of opening on 6001 on Lakeshore Drive. Just a really, really interesting thing. You often think, well, we got all kinds of wineries around, and this is just another thing, but this is an actual distillery. The only other one that I can remember is one in Vassal Lake area that just opened recently, and this will probably follow that same kind of a pattern. So kind of interesting. If you have anything positive or negative to say about it, tonight would be a good opportunity to come down and voice your opinion about it. So.
Thank you. Councillor Campbell.
Thank you, Mayor McCordoff. I too attended the open school meeting a couple weeks back. My feeling on it is a little different. I felt that the first public meeting was very, very overwhelming for the board and trustees, and the goal of controlling the second meeting they were successful at. I was as impressed as I always am with the respectful and well thought out questions and suggestions from our residents, and I still feel like this process is going through the motions of a consultation rather than taking input seriously or doing anything with that input. But kudos to our community and the students for stepping up, wearing their school uniforms, hanging posters, and showing the spirit that we all know lives here in Osoyoos. On a more positive note, I also want to thank the KIJHL Coyotes for another great season. But more important than that is their community involvement each season, which seems to grow each year. Almost any event, charity or otherwise, that happens in this town, you always see these guys with their uniforms on getting involved. So kudos to Randy and Ken for creating that culture within their organization. And a welcome to the 5th annual Osoyoos Desert Cup, which will start at the beginning of April, bringing a ton of kids from British Columbia into our community for a 3-week hockey tournament.
Thank you very much. And just a couple of things, and I sometimes like to add on to things that the councillors have already said. One of them is what Councillor Rhodes was mentioning about the museum on the 26th. Last week in the Osoyoos Times, you noticed quite an article on the Haynes House that is not within town boundary. It's in the regional district, and it's been taken down because new owners have purchased it. And my understanding is they're going to put in a new home and a winery, and they were not able to use the existing house. I do know that Kara Burton from the museum went down and talked to them, and I believe some of the interesting things from the house are going to be donated to the museum. And the other positive on this is that that I think that when the winery is being built, they are going to do a little bit of a history of the property as part of it. I think Kara suggested that, and that they're kind of hoping that the new owners might include that. So while we're losing a very important piece of history, we hope that we can somehow remember it. Yesterday, I went to a smudging ceremony, and I had never been to one before, and it was Spirit Ridge Lodge, the new owners of Spirit Ridge, a community of homeowners and local people have started off a new business, and we certainly wish them well. Clarence Louis spoke yesterday, and so did Leon, and I don't remember his last name, that he's the CAO, and as did our Councillor Campbell, who is the Director of Operations up there. So it was a most interesting ceremony, very well attended. I bet you there was 100, 150 people there, and the students that were there doing a culinary school put on the most amazing hors d'oeuvres. It was, they were just fantastic. I went into the kitchen after and told them how good they were. Strawberries on a stick filled with cream cheese and stuff. I mean,
let's be honest, you went into the kitchen looking for more strawberries.
No, I was thinking about it, but I think they were all eaten. But anyway, it was a very nice event. I was very happy to be at a smudging event, because I hadn't been to one before. So best of luck to the Spirit Ridge Lodge and the whole resort, because they do a great job. I also need to tell you that on March the 26th, on Saturday, it's Easter Extravaganza. And we start off, because I've been a member of the Festival Society for a million years, at least 25, and we have an Easter egg hunt at the lower field of the school, and Councillor Campbell's off the hook. He dressed up as a chicken last year, and we didn't ask him because he locked it in the trunk of his car, and it was kind of a mess. But anyway, I have Marcel St. Louis is going to dress up as the chicken this year. And we hide, in quotation marks, 3,500 chocolate eggs on the field, and it takes about 5 minutes for the kids to pick all of those up. So that's one of our signature events. And then right outside here, beside Town Hall, there's live music. The Rotary put on a pancake breakfast. There's, I think, some like a petting zoo, and some guessing games, and it probably will go on till about 1 o'clock. So please come out on Saturday. We hope the weather is good, and enjoy the 27th or 28th annual Easter Extravaganza. So thank you very much, everybody. And could I have a resolution to close the meeting? Thank you. Councillor King, Councillor Campbell, all in favor. Thank you very much.